Welcome to Scrum Masters Elite _UK. Sign up to dive deep into analysing the England team and leadership.
The fact that the England national team, one of the highly rated sides, lost as many as 4 matches in the Six Nations is almost unacceptable. It is not just a poor numerical result, but also a sign of deeper issues in how the team operates. I sense frustration not only from the fans but also from the management, reflected in the RFU's decision to launch an investigation. When a major organization has to dissect itself, it signals that trust has been shaken. However, what makes me think even more is how precarious Steve Borthwick's future has become. In elite sports, performance pressure is unavoidable, but the way it can swiftly jeopardize a coach's position illustrates the harshness of this environment. One poor tournament can erase much of the previous effort. It makes me wonder, are we judging a person solely based on short-term results? Or is this the inevitable price of leading a national team? I don't believe the problem lies solely with Borthwick. When a team underperforms on a broad scale, it is rarely down to one individual. It is usually the convergence of several factors: unsuitable tactics, a dip in morale, lack of cohesion within the squad, or even psychological pressure from high expectations.
In this sense, the RFU's investigation is necessary, but more importantly, they must approach it impartially and consider the entire system rather than seeking a scapegoat. Within this context, the situation around Joe El-Abd introduces another layer: the stability of the coaching staff. I find this a very thought-provoking detail. While Borthwick faces the risk of losing his job, retaining El-Abd, an esteemed figure, has become a battle in itself. This reflects a reality that, even when the head coach's future is uncertain, he still has to safeguard key personnel. It is a paradoxical but very real scenario in professional sports. I am particularly struck by the fact that El-Abd previously turned down an offer from Brive. This indicates that at the time, he still believed in the England project. But sports, whether football or rugby, do not stand still. When circumstances change, decisions may also shift. Interest from Toulon and other clubs shows that El-Abd's market value is substantial.
If the current environment becomes unstable, it is entirely understandable that you would consider leaving. Here, I realize one thing: success not only brings victories but also helps retain people. When a team performs well, everything becomes easier, from building trust to maintaining cohesion. Conversely, prolonged failure damages reputation and causes key personnel to waver. Another aspect that catches my attention is the role of long-term contracts. El-Abd's contract with the RFU until after the 2027 World Cup might seem like a protective shield for the team. But in reality, it offers no absolute guarantee. In sports, contracts may be legally binding, but they cannot keep someone who has lost faith or motivation. This reminds me that human factors are always more complex than any clause on paper. When facing failure, the immediate reaction is often changing personnel, tactics, or structure. But change is not always the right solution.
Sometimes, what is needed is to fully understand the problem before acting. Otherwise, hasty decisions may worsen the situation. The second lesson concerns trust and leadership. A leader is not only judged when things go smoothly but especially during challenging times like these. How Borthwick and the RFU manage this crisis will determine not only their own future but also the culture of the entire team. I realize that leadership is not just about making the right decisions but also maintaining composure and transparency amid chaos. We are often quick to criticize when a team fails, yet rarely acknowledge the complex factors behind the scenes. Support should not exist only in victory. Fans naturally have the right to expect results, but patience and understanding are equally necessary. External stability can help a team navigate difficult periods. For me personally, the greatest takeaway is how to face failure. Failure is not the end, it is an opportunity to reflect and adjust. But to do so requires honesty, with oneself and with the team. Avoidance or blame will solve nothing. Only by confronting the problem directly can we move forward.
Thank you for following Scrum Masters Elite _UK. Failure is an opportunity, leadership is a lesson.